Yes guys, welcome back, and today we're going to be doing our Premier League predictions, 2021-22 season. Now it has been a while, so appreciate the wait for this video, but it is the start of the Premier League on Friday tomorrow, so got to get this out today. Now we've seen a lot of YouTubers do this video in the past.
It is time for the Premier League predictions video, the big one every single year. It's the Premier League, it's the biggest video of the year.
Question is, can we do any better than them? So we're going to kick it off with 20th place, and for 20th place I have gone with Norwich. So I think Norwich have made a few good additions. You've got Gilmour coming in from Chelsea, very good young player, isn't he? So we'll see how he does. I don't think Pukki's going to have as good a year this year. Like, he's good, but he's probably 7 to 10 goal a season Premier League footballer, I'd say, in my opinion. But obviously, if you disagree or agree with that, obviously just let us know in the comments. Yeah, so that's what I think Norwich will do this year. So then we're going to go into 19th, and we've got Watford. So Watford again, newly promoted team. I think with them, I saw something the other day, they had 8 or 9 strikers registered for the Premier League, which is mental. So that will probably leave a few players unhappy. So yeah, I should imagine that their squad morale will get affected quite a bit from that. And also they have brought in Danny Rose, who obviously back in the day was a good Premier League left back.
And as far as Danny Rose, Danny Rose with a.
But I just think with age and lack of playing time, maybe that he might not be as sharp and as good as he once was. So I do think Watford will struggle, because I don't think they brought in enough players to really be solid in the Prem. Although I do like Sarr, the winger / striker. I think he'll have a good year in the Premier League, but we'll have to see if Watford prove me wrong. So then we're going to move on to the 18th place team. For this, I think there's 5 or 6 teams that could get relegated this year and really struggle. But I've gone with Burnley. Obviously, Sean Dyche, a miracle man, always keeps them up, always does bits with the squad he has. But yeah, I think maybe this season will just be one too far. They're really thin. They got a bit lucky with injuries last year, because say if me and Tarkowski get injured, you know, they're pretty much finished. If that happens, they could come rock bottom of the league. Like, their squad's just paper thin. They really need investments from now to the end of the transfer window to, you know, have a lot better chance of staying up. So now we're going to go on to 17th place. Now you've got quite a few weak teams like Southampton, Palace, Brentford just come up, Newcastle made no signings as of yet, and Brighton potentially in there as well. But I have gone with Crystal Palace. So my main reason for this is they've got rid of so many first team players. When you get rid of that many first team players like that, it just completely imbalances the team. You saw that when Villa got relegated, they got rid of half their first team, brought in 6 or 7 new first team players. Didn't work at all, terrible year. And I think the same sort of thing will happen with Palace. Yes, their signings have probably been better than what Villa's was, with Anderson coming in, proven in the Premier League now for me, and Gueye from Chelsea on loan at Swansea last year, again another good signing. But I just think like they've had too much of a turnover. Eze's going to start the year injured, and you know, if Zaha gets injured as well, then they will be struggling. And I just don't think, again, Palace have got enough depth, and I don't think they're gelling time. But you know, that one could backfire, and they could gel straight away and no one could get injured and they could do really well. But I think if Palace come in the top 11 and above, then I will buy a Birmingham City shirt and I will wear it at my local five-a-side. And considering I'm a Villa fan, so considering I'll have to buy a Birmingham top, wear it sort of match my local five-a-side, that wouldn't be good. Then we're going to move on to 16th place, and in 16th place I've got Brentford. So Brentford, again, newly promoted team. I do think they'll do the best out of the 3 that have come up. I I think they recruit well, they use stats to back it up, and that does really help with their recruitment, as proven. But I think Brentford will be a nice unit, a bit like Sheffield United were when they first came up, and I think that will see them through against some weaker teams. And then in 15th place, I've gone with Southampton. This could be a bit generous, to be fair, because they've lost Danny Ings. They have just brought in Adam Armstrong, who I've seen for a while. I've seen him from his progression up from Coventry to now Southampton. He's a good striker, but I just don't know if he'll give you the same output as Danny Ings will. And the rest of their team, they've got Vestergaard, who's solid. They've also got Bentnerek, who's solid, but a little bit, can have a few mistakes in him. And then you've obviously got Ward-Prowse, but he could yet leave. So yeah, I do think Southampton are really going to struggle. They're really thin. Their starting 11 for me isn't very good at all. I could easily see them going down as well, but I just think they might be able to hold on for the Premier League survival this year. Place, I've gone with Newcastle United. Obviously yet to make no signings, but every year I tip Newcastle to do badly. They always just somehow find a way, find points, scrap out games, and they just grind it out. And I think St. Maximin again will be perfectly good. Wilson, if he can stay injury free again, he'd be very good. And I just think potentially Joe Willock coming in would be a massive boost. So I just think again they probably just have enough to beat the drop and they'll grind out a few games. And then in 13th place, I've gone with Brighton. So I do think Brighton will be a lot stronger than all of the weaker teams this year. Obviously, everyone knows about their XG being really good, which it was, but again, they have to actually convert that XG into points, which I think they will do a bit better this year. I think they brought in a new lad up top, can't remember his name, but he should, help them get some points. But yeah, I think Brighton obviously losing Ben White is a big loss, but I just think their overall squad's just stronger than the likes of Newcastle, Brentford, Southampton, etc. And then in 12th place, I've gone with Wolverhampton Wanderers. So I think Wolves, again, solid team. I think they just have a mediocre season, mid-table. Raul Jimenez coming back, could do a job. Again, if he's fully fit and right mentally. And obviously Trincao coming in from Barcelona. So yeah, it's a good young player. But yeah, I think it'll just be an average season for Wolves. So yeah. Then on to 11th place, so you could have had the likes of Leeds, potentially West Ham, people like that in this, but I have gone for Everton. So Everton, again, I don't think they've recruited very well. They've brought in Gray and Andros Townsend from Crystal Palace, but I just don't think Everton have got the starting 11 to compete with the other teams that I put ahead of them for this year. Obviously, Everton fans, let me know if you're optimistic for this season or not, because obviously I know you brought in Rafa Benitez, but the signings just haven't done it for me, to be fair. So just let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, that's what I predict for Everton this year. Then in the top 10, the first team to come in the top 10 is Leeds United. So obviously Bielsa, a very good coach. A lot of people can see them progressing this year and kicking on and maybe challenging for Europe, which I think they will do for parts of the season. But I just think Leeds won't quite have enough to break past Arsenal, Spurs, your classic top four, Leicester, and that lot. But I think they'll have a solid season. Then we're going to go into 9th place, and for 9th place I've gone with West Ham. So I've gone with West Ham because they're arguably a little bit thin, and I think they're going to have quite a few academy lads on the bench this year. And they'll probably have to play a B team for maybe some Premier League games or some Europa League games, because the Europa League will stretch their squad even more, and they probably got a little bit lucky with injuries last year, apart from to Antonio, but they, for me, still need another striker as well, and multiple positions to really solidify their status in and around the Europe battle. In 8th place, I've gone for Arsenal. So Arsenal could be a lot higher up in a lot of other people's predictions. But for me, again, obviously they brought in Ben White, good addition. But I think Arsenal they just can't perform week in, week out. They just can't. They've shown it the last 3-4 years now, and I just don't see any other reason why this is a different year to the previous years. All they've changed is Ben White, and I still think Arteta is not a good enough manager to lead them into that top 5 where they want to be. And then in 7th place, I've gone with Aston Villa. So obviously they have got rid of Jack Grealish. This could be me being a bit biased, but they got rid of Jack Grealish, but they brought in Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey. Who else did they bring in? Ashley Young for a bit of experience, which could be key, and more depth again. So yeah, for me they brought in good depth, and I just think with that depth, if they get any injuries, they'll be covered. But obviously the loss of Grealish will be big, but I think they've brought in enough to replace that output, and each Premier League player to start with was fairly young, so they've got another year of Premier League experience under their belt. And I just think they've now got the squad capable to try and challenge for that Europa League spot. Then in 6th place, I've gone with Spurs. So obviously for now, I think Harry Kane is going to stay. I don't think Man City will move from now just because like they would have signed it by now, to be honest, I think. But yeah, I think Harry Kane will stay. Heung-min Son signed a new contract. They're starting to build a new project at Tottenham, which is good because they needed it, obviously with Alderweireld leaving and that Atalanta centre-half coming in for quite a big fee, but I think he could be solid. And then again, you've got a younger, stronger centre spine of the team, if you like, and I think they'll see off Villa, Arsenal and West Ham and take that 6th place spot. Then in 5th, I've got Leicester City. So I think Leicester, again, they've just beaten Man City in the EFL. Yes, Man City did have a weaker team out, but I think Leicester, again, they're going to prove that they are just consistent top 5 finishes. And they could easily do better than 5th because their starting 11 on paper is very good. They've recruited well. I really like Samare, who came from France. And he looked good in the little run out he got. They also got Patson Daka, who again, very good. I think their recruitment is just really good. And I think, again, they're going to have a fantastic year in the Premier League. And now we are into the top 4, the one I'm sure you've all been waiting for. So we're going to see what the top 4 is saying on my predictions. So in 4th place, this could be controversial. I'm sure everything will be controversial in the top 4, to be fair, but I've gone with Liverpool Football Club. So for me, I've gone with Liverpool because I know Robertson's out for a couple of the first few games with his injury he picked up pre-season, but I think Liverpool don't have as much depth as Chelsea and Man City. I also don't think their overall squad is as good as Chelsea, Man City and potentially Man United with the recruitments they've done. But I just think Liverpool are relying on Van Dijk to be fully fit, him to come back fully firing. So for me, I just think that again that'll be another factor why they don't quite get where they want to be this season ultimately. And again with the front three, I think they should have changed it up. Firmino had to go. He's 30 or approaching 30. Same with Mane and Salah. Salah's class, he'll be good again this year, I'm sure. But Mane, he needs to start firing because last year he wasn't as good, he'll know that himself. But I just think they needed refreshing and maybe a more creative attacking midfielder to help them create chances when they're not firing. So for me, that's why Liverpool are going to come fourth. Now, if Liverpool do come in the top 2 this season, I'm that confident they won't. If they come in the top 2 this year, Liverpool Football Club, I will spend a night camped out at my local park trying to sleep just at my local park for a night if they come top 2. It won't happen. It won't happen. Now in 3rd place, I've gone for Manchester United. So they've made really good recruitment signings. They've got Varane. They brought in Jadon Sancho as well. 2 world-class signings. All very good signings. And again, their back fours are incredible. Maguire, Varane, Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. But I just think they don't quite have the depth or the starting 11 yet of Chelsea and Man City do. So for me, I think Man United are going to have a good year, but 3rd place. Now onto the team who are going to come second. I have gone with Manchester City, which will be controversial. I've seen a lot of people put Man City as first. I think Spencer FC did it in his video that he's just uploaded. But yeah, I think for me, Man City second. I think Chelsea have the better manager. Yes, I've just said Thomas Tuchel's better than Pep Guardiola. I just think Tuchel's just phenomenal, to be honest. He has just won the Super Cup again with Chelsea. I know that's against Villarreal, but just saying, Man United didn't beat Villarreal, did they? But yeah, I think for me, Man City, it's a tight one. Obviously, it can go either way between them and Chelsea, I think. But I just think Chelsea are just an all-round stronger outfit this year. Better defence, I'd say, for Chelsea. Obviously Kante protecting them as well. I just think that's better than what Man City have now. But obviously the addition of Jack Grealish, very good. A lot of money, but I think he'll do well there, and hope he does well there. But yeah, I think for me, Man City second. Now on to first place. Of course, it is Chelsea. So Chelsea, just fresh off winning the Champions League, I think they'll be looking to win this Premier League. And trying extremely hard for it, because this will be their next ambition. They want to win, and I just think with the signing of Lukaku as well, that's going to put all their scoring problems to bed, and I just think they're going to have enough to win the league, and I think they're just going to be class this year with Kante, Lukaku, Kai Havertz, good young player. He showed that at the end of last year, and then their defence will just be solid throughout like it was as soon as Tuchel took over. And yeah, and then Mendy in goal as well. So I just think Chelsea, class, and they're going to win the league for me. But if you guys did enjoy watching, then do leave a like and subscribe for more content. And when we hit 200 subscribers, we will do a giveaway. I did mention what that giveaway was in the last video, so if you want to tune in and look at that video, then do so. But leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for more in a bit.